So like you walk by, like there's all these risks, right? You walk by the body, like you hear about people dying, like what's going through your head? Are you like just keep going? Is that even like a thought process, or like are you mentally prepared going into it?
Yeah, you definitely got to be mentally prepared going into it. And you kind of, like, everyone has their own, like, I'd say, like, risk, kind of, like, what they're willing to risk, you
Sure.
know, up
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
their risk threshold. So, like, some people hike very conservatively and,
Like take longer time?
yeah, take
Okay.
longer time. And then if there's, like, any bad weather, they don't go up, like,
Yeah.
things like that. And then some people are, like, very risky, like do it, you know, without oxygen and like go up even if the weather's not amazing. So like everyone
Yeah.
kind of has their own like hiking, their mountaineering strategy. And like for me, I'd say a lot of the times I'm like with a guide, so I like don't really have complete control over that. But I'd say I'm like in the middle, kind of like I definitely want to get to the top, but like the main priority is, you know, making it back
Being
to
surviving.
alive. Yeah.
Living to tell it.
Exactly. So, but
That's crazy.
you do, like, I know going into it, I'm like, I always know that this like could be the end, you know, like this could be,
That's
I could never
crazy,
like,
dude.
yeah, which I don't really think like, you know, this is gonna be it, you know,
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
like do things to put
Well, you
myself in
can't,
that
right?
position, but
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, football is a lot less dangerous, but it's the same thing. Like, you can't go onto the field thinking, you know, I'm going to get injured or being scared or frightened. Like, you have to go in thinking, like, you know, all positive thoughts. Otherwise, you are actually going to get injured. So I imagine it's
Exactly.
something similar when you're doing something as dangerous as a climb.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, like same
Because
mindset.
something will happen if you have those thoughts in your head, right?
Yeah.
And do you work with like a mental coach, anybody that works with your psychology at all, like, or anything like that, or no?
I haven't, no. So when I was little, I was actually afraid of heights.
No
which,
way.
yeah.
That's
What?
crazy.
Yeah, I was.
But
now,
I thought you climbed all these mountains at like 8.
Yeah.
No, I did. I just like ignored it for a little while. Like I would just like kind of like
What?
like
You
push
just ignored
through
it?
You're like, I'm gonna die. I'll ignore that for a second.
just like focus on like the trail, not the cliffs. But then there was this like one mountain, and it was like it was like crazy drops on either side. It was like a knife edge is like what you call like when there was like an 1,000-foot drop on one side and like a steep slope to another 100-foot drop on the other. So like if you fell either way, like you were gonna die. And I like made it up and down that, and after that I was like I trust myself, you know.
Really?
Like yeah, that was like my mindset switch. So I've never like worked with a mental coach, but honestly like climbing has been my mental coach. Like that has given me such a mindset that's helped me like not only in climbing but like in running, in life in general, like having that
Giving you confidence through
Exactly.
your experiences. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, and just conquering your fears. Like you gotta face
do
them
it.
to conquer them. That's like my belief, because like after that, like I've never been afraid of heights since.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really interesting because, like, you know, Alex Honnold, of course, the
Yes.
free solo climber.
Yeah.
So he says something similar where, like, a lot of people on the outside think he's this crazy maniac who, like, just wants the thrill. But if you watch the documentary Free Solo, which is, like, one of my favorite, like, things I've ever seen, honestly. Like, I was sweating. Like, it was like, have you seen it? Oh, that movie's
amazing.
insane.
Really?
Yeah. But the way he describes it is that he's trained so much for this one thing that it's more dangerous for him, for example, like go on the freeway, like in a major city, than it is to like climb this mountain that no one's ever done before, because he's just so good at it.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like the thought process you go with? Like, I'm trained for, like I'm ready for it, I have confidence in this thing that nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I definitely don't think like nothing's gonna happen, because there's some things you just can't control, like avalanches or a storm comes in, things like that. But like with my abilities, like my coordination up there, like my being like technically like knowledgeable with the ropes and everything, and just like my strength. I definitely trust myself. Like I've been in enough situations that every mountain just kind of builds my confidence and builds my skill level as well. Like each mountain kind of teaches you something a little different. And I don't really put myself, I definitely like push it. Like, I mean, you kind of have to, like jumping to Everest, like that was something that was definitely out of my comfort zone a little bit, but like not so much where I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, you know.
Right.
Like I was definitely like, I was prepared in a way for it. So yeah, just like kind of taking those small steps. Like I've been climbing for a while. So I know what it takes. I know what my abilities are in the mountains.
Did you have any scares ever where you're like, you slip or anything like that, where you're like, oh, I thought I was about to die right there?
Yeah, there are some moments like that.
Really?
Like there's I mean at the very top of Everest, it's like an hour from the summit. There's this like the hardest part, the most technical part of the mountain. It's called Hillary Step, and it's basically this really slick rock. And when you're on such snow and ice like glacier most of the time, and you have these things on your shoes called crampons, which are basically like huge spikes on your shoes.
I saw that on your YouTube.
Yeah, then they're amazing when like you're in snow and ice. Like they basically like you're like Spider-Man, you know, like you can just like go up the mountain. But on a rock, they're horrible. Like they're like walking on like little spikes on a rock, so it's so easy to slip.
Or like cleats on concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. So I was like going up, and like almost everyone was like slipping and on this rock, and like if you slip down the rock, there's like a huge like there's a cliff right there.
You're just looking down.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. Like the key is to not look down. Honestly, just don't look
Don't
down.
look down. Don't look down.
3 weeks straight, you will not look down.
Just eyes up on the sky.
Yeah.
No, so they're
Neck
like
pain waiting to happen.
Right?
true. I'm surprised I don't have neck injuries, honestly, from that. But you were literally just held onto the rope that you were on, and even if you slipped, like just hold on to the rope. And that was like I partially slipped on that part, and I was like so scared. I was like, oh my gosh,
that's wild.
like you just gotta like jump off the rock. So there's definitely some like instances like that. Like there was another time when me and my Sherpa were in this part of the mountain called the Kumbu Ice Fall, which other than Hillary Step is like the most technical part, and it's basically just a bunch of huge crevasses, and you have to just find a way through the crevasses.
And what's a crevasse?
It's okay, so a crevasse is basically like this big hole in the mountain. Like there's ice, but then the ice cracks, and there's huge like just holes, like big and sometimes they're small, like they can be anywhere from like a couple inches wide to like can swallow a whole bus. So there's
So what's the strategy with that? Like you have to go around it, or you go
Over it?
over? Yeah.
What are those?
We're looking at some photos.
Oh yeah, those are crevasses. So there's a combination. Sometimes like there's ice bridges and you can go over it. Sometimes there's ladders, and you can walk over those or climb up them.
Okay.
And there's a lot of like ropes that you have to like pull yourself up. You have these things called ascenders. They're like this tool that basically allows you to pull yourself up the rope, and then you won't fall back down. And then some you have to go around. Some are just too big or too dangerous to go across. So there's these people up on the mountain called ice doctors, and they basically every day they go up into the ice fall, and they find the route through the ice, and then everyone else follows their path. And yeah,
So
it's
are they
crazy.
Sherpas, or is that different from a Sherpa?
Yeah, there's different classes in Nepal. So
Okay.
they're like based on like caste systems. So a lot of the times the Sherpas are like the highest class caste
wow.
system, and then the ice doctors and the porters are like a lower caste.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like kind
That's
of
cool.
yeah, it's like
The
it's very
hierarchy.
interesting. And yeah, the hierarchy. So like to be a Sherpa, you're like just born into this class, and
Really?
then yeah,
So, like you're trained from a young
That's
kid. You're
sick.
born on this
You
mountain.
have to be like
How
agreed.
insane
You
is
have to
that?
be in a-
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Their probably
It
lung
is.
capacity is insane.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. They're amazing. Like these people, you will not like it's so like inconceivable what they do, you know? Like you see them like carrying so much weight on their back and
Wow.
not using oxygen, or using like barely any oxygen, and like people like me, like people from like like these like flat altitudes are like
Right.
dying, like having to use a bunch of oxygen, like feeling so tired, and they're just like they're so used to it. They're just like running up there. It's crazy.